I was one of the journalists who worked on what we call the Gaza project. This is a project that involved over 50 journalists from 13 news organizations, working specifically to investigate the killing of the journalists in Gaza by the Israeli military. The numbers are staggering. The number of journalists killed in Gaza since October 7th is over 100 journalists. There are different organizations that collect the information and do the calculations differently, but by the most conservative numbers, if we just look at the lowest numbers, they're still record-breaking. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, 103 Palestinian journalists have been killed in this war. This is the largest number since CPJ started collecting and keeping records in 1992. It's also higher than the journalists who have been killed in World War II, which lasted 6 years, more than the journalists who've been killed in Vietnam War, and more than the journalists who've been killed in the Iraq War. These wars lasted years, and yet the number of journalists killed was less than the numbers we're seeing today. By the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate estimate, or by their record keeping, as of today, 152 Palestinian journalists have been killed. So what we set out to do as investigative journalists is we were finding that there wasn't the sort of outcry, the sort of reaction that lives up to the scale of this crisis. This is not a crisis for just Arab or Palestinian journalists, but the international journalism community. We were not seeing the sort of emergency mode that this crisis deserves. And as investigative journalists, we decided that the best we can do is do what we do best, which is report and investigate the killing of the journalists. And this is where the Gaza project comes, Forbidden Stories, a nonprofit that is based in Paris and whose mission is to continue the work of journalists who've been silenced either because they've been killed, injured, or threatened, or censored. They were the organization that brought us all together to work on this important project.